Namaste, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be across the planet, around the world. My name is Gregg Prescott from In5D.com, and you're tuned into another fantastic one-on-one show. Tonight we have Tiffany Keefer, who's going to be talking about twin flames and DNA activation. And as always, before we get started, I just want to remind you guys, if you enjoy these shows, please check out our In5D Quantum Tie-Dye shop, and that's one way that you can help support shows like this. We have these amazing shirts that are that I use the 99.9% quartz crystal sand from Siesta Key Beach into the dye, and I throw in positive thoughts and energy, ho'oponopono, and send them out to you guys ASAP. As a matter of fact, I got several right here that people ordered today. They're going out tomorrow morning, so bam, you get them immediately. So, and one of the things I'll be working on, I just had Adrienne Goff on, and today was the day I got the final crystals. Now I have all the crystals that she recommended for each one of the chakras. So I'll be making chakra shirts as well for each one of the chakras. And I'll probably do some shirts that have all 7 chakras on it. It's probably going to be a conglomeration of all 7 different colors, but who knows, it should be pretty cool anyway. So I'll be making those and putting them out ASAP. Also, we have our Patreon page where for as little as $1.11, you can help support us. And you'll get your name listed on the Patreon wall of gratitude, as well as you'll get notified for videos like this on Zoom. And you can also comment on them on Zoom when I post them. So you get all that for just $1.11 for $5.55. We just had our first of the month Insiders Club private chat. We just had that this past Wednesday, but we have that every month. Check it out. There's stuff on there we're not talking about on here right now on YouTube, and I will not repost that. So it's one time a month. Check it out. And that's our Insiders Club private chat. And you also get everything that I listed at 111 plus ad-free articles. And then at 111 or 1111, you get all that, plus the exclusive afterthoughts videos, because I always miss something. I'm going to come back and tell you about the stuff that I missed. And the exclusive mid-month energy report, which is coming out in about a week or so, a little over a week. I'll be doing that on Patreon. So without any further ado, I'm bringing on Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Greg. Thanks for this opportunity to be on this show.
Why don't you tell our viewers a little about yourself?
Okay, so I'm an intuitive DNA healer. I'm able to kind of see the spiritual realm more than I see the physical realm. I'm able to read energies and have been since I was a child. I was a natural, I guess, could see through things when I was a kid. But I was able to like see the inner structures of plants and people. I'm able to read different things within people. I can see different attachments to them. I can see when their codons and their electrons and their pheromones and everything is off balance. I can see when their chakras aren't aligned. I used to be an engineer. I used to be a civil and structural engineer, and was injured on my job and ended up having epilepsy. And it was something that I had to heal for myself. And it took me a while to, I was on medication for a while, and the medication pretty much made me like a zombie. So it was something that was very important for me to heal. And through that, I awakened. I learned a breath that in yoga that helped me to not really so much of yoga, but just I had to ask God, I had to have proof. I had to prove that God was real and help me heal this epilepsy. And not just that, I've had so many different physical ailments that have been healed through my awakening. Part of what awakened within me was the abilities and the gifts that I have now, that I'm able to see the body like a blueprint. I can, you know, read different things, traumas that are in the body. I can communicate with the cells, the tissues, the organs. I'm able to see what fits the body as far as energetically and what needs to be removed. And I'm able to see what's going on with the energetic part of the body. Not just the energetic part, but also many different layers, the etheric, the, you know, the spiritual, the mental, the physical. And I just keep allowing myself to be a vessel and a messenger and being brought to different people. And it's been an amazing journey. That's pretty much where I'm at now.
Well, thank you for coming on. We'll be back next week with a new show. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Tell us a little about that breathing that you ended up doing that was part of your healing process.
So I want to teach everybody this. So I call it the breath of life because it truly has brought life back into me. And it's healed every ailment I've ever had. Every person that I've ever worked with, I give them this breath. And this is something that if you use this as a practice, it really, truly, even scientifically, it will help the whole entire body readjust, recalibrate, and restore from the inside out. So what it is it's you breathe through your nose to the count of 7 and you fill up your whole entire chest. So I'll tell us how we do it and then we all 3 can do it. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah.
So first we go ahead and we breathe through our nose to the count of 7. We fill up our whole entire upper chest. We hold it to the count of 3. And when we exhale, we're going to exhale from our nose into our heart. And we don't really count when we're exhaling because we're just releasing everything energetically that needs to be released. Okay. So let's go ahead and do it. Breathe in. Hold. And release. Again, breathe in. Hold. Everything's through the nose. And release. It's almost like you're inflating a balloon and then you're letting the balloon back out. You feel how much more relaxed it makes you? So what that does is it starts building an inner structure within the body. Not only that, but it will help your immune system. A lot of people are, you know, worried about this coronavirus. And this will really help build that immune system so that your body, it will reject it completely. It will reject every bit of the germs, the virus, the bacteria, everything in your body. This also, anybody who has inflammation, anybody who has disease, anybody who has a lot of stored energy, this releases like metabolic waste, which is emotion, stuffed emotion within the body, and it allows the body to recuperate from the inside out. You do this 20 minutes every single morning, and without a doubt, it as a practice, it takes you to a higher vibration. It will keep you in this higher vibration, and it will allow you not to bring in any lower vibrations, not allowing you to attract those lower vibrations that may come into your field. So we're all a field of energy, and this breath allows us to become a higher field of energy, a higher frequency of energy.
You mentioned also you were given a bunch of medications. I have an article on In5D, 30 signs that you're wired differently from everyone else. And one of the things was I said that you'll have like an adverse reaction to medications. For example, I was given, when I was diagnosed with ADHD, I was given initially Strattera, which made me zombie-like, like what you were saying, but I told them, this is horrible. And what they ended up giving me after that was Adderall, which most people end up getting for ADHD. And I could take an Adderall, despite it being an amphetamine. I could go to sleep an hour later and sleep for as long as I wanted. It did the exact opposite. So do you feel that, you know, that might have been something similar in your case where it was making you zombie-like, or
The medication that they gave me with epilepsy, they give you pretty high doses of different narcotics. I was on Topamax. I was on, I can't even remember the names of them now, dopamine, all these different types of what they do is they pretty much dull the brain, and they shut down your neuropeptides from being able to be functioning. And our neuropeptides are very important because they are what sends signals to our body. So, like I said, this breath helps you to to reestablish these neuropeptides that have been damaged through trauma or any kind of medication or anything like that. Another great thing is celery juice. That was another thing that I started doing. I started drinking celery juice first thing in the morning. And you talk about taking inflammation, taking any kind of foreign energy or substance out of your body. It was amazing what it did. I still use the celery juice in the morning because it's so healthy and it's so, it's so vibrant. I pour it in a wine glass though, because it doesn't taste so good. And in a wine glass, it makes it taste better. So,
yeah, the medical medium recommended 16 ounces of that every day, every morning.
right, right. So that's really helped me out too. Cannabis was another thing that helped me when I was dealing with the epilepsy. Um, it was something that I was brought to from one of my surgeons because I had a tumor on my left side of my brain, and that's one of the reasons what was causing the epilepsy. And they wanted me to have surgery, and I refused the surgery. And one of the surgeons that I had been working with at that time, he suggested that I try cannabis. And that was one of the things too that really helped me through healing, which I think to me, that's God's plan. So I'm down with it.
Let's talk about DNA first.
Okay.
Because that's a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I have done so many things. I've used myself basically as a guinea pig for DNA experiments. Some of the things I've done is I have an ozone machine, and I don't have the glass in front of me, but I have this glass with a sigil on it that I created that says all of my codons are open. And when you look at sigils, you really can't tell what they say, but it's that meaning that gets imprinted within. And a lot of this stuff I've done, I've used myself, like I said, as a guinea pig, but some of the stuff has been used against us, but I figure, okay, if it's been used against us, why can't we use it for us? Like one of the things I do is reversals. So when I'm putting the ozone water into my water, I'll spin it around clockwise and say all my codons are open. Then I'll spin it counterclockwise and I'll use a reversal. All my codons open reversed is Nipo Erasnoda Gimpala. So I'll use the reversals on that. And that's just a couple examples of what I've done, but I'm working on my DNA, excuse me, because we only have what 20 of the 64 codons in our DNA activated. So I figured the first person that's able to activate all 64 codons, that's the 100th monkey effect. And everything I've done so far is on In5D. If I end up disappearing, you guys know what happened. This is follow what I did, So, but what I'm trying to figure out, and it hasn't happened yet, but I feel like things are going in the right direction. I'm
So,
trying to figure out how to open up those codons. So what do I do?
so planetary right now, the energies that are coming in through the different solar eclipses, lunar eclipses, the different gateways that have been opened, all of that's activating our DNA. It's removing all of the tainted programming codes, the mutated DNA. So a lot of our DNA was mutated by lower frequency. And that frequency, keeps us in limitation, keeps us controlled, keeps us powered by these lower frequencies. And that comes through thoughts and things like that. So the DNA itself can be very easily imprinted. I want to specify this like you would not believe. So anything you believe imprints your DNA. So let's say you walk up to somebody and somebody tells you, you know, the coronavirus is going to attack your immune system. If you believe that, or you believe in the coronavirus, or you believe in what's being said, what's being, you know, subjected to you at this moment, at this time, your DNA is almost like a computer. So what it does is it's like a chip, and it goes ahead and every single thing that you hear, everything that you come in contact with is imprinted in that chip, in that DNA, in that sequence, right? So the helix itself is like I said, it's like a computer chip. It keeps absorbing different information. Give me more, give me more, give me more. But if you believe, so this is the biggest thing, whatever you believe is what the DNA will bring to your reality. So your DNA is a big, huge subject of information that can either make you healthy, wealthy, and wise, or can create you to be very, very depressed, dishonored, unloyal, unworthy, unlovable, all these different things. And our DNA had been so mutated throughout generations, like this, we're talking, it goes way, way back, right? That our DNA has been mutated. So by it being mutated, it's caused so much of us to have to go through a karmic ring, which all that's in our DNA, but it can be removed through activating it. It can be removed through that breathing process practice that I just gave you. There's certain things that are very, very easy for us to do. Not just that, but our DNA listens to everything we say. So if we criticize ourselves, we put ourselves down, we say negative things, we allow negative thoughts within us, our DNA then looks at that as our print. Like it's like a blueprint. It's so much more technical than a fingerprint. Like like your DNA, I can read every single thing from you all the way back to your ancestral, back to your very first existence of life through your DNA. So the codones that you were speaking of, we are.
And before you get into that real quick,
Okay.
I just want to do a quick, because you were talking about the coronavirus, and a lot of people are afraid to talk about that. And, you know, it's fear and it's BS. And I see that we have Flora Bruin in the chat. I was watching one of her videos earlier today, and she asked the people in the chat, do you personally know anyone that has the coronavirus? Personally know someone that's infected with it? Not that you heard of someone, but do you personally know anyone? So in the chat, I want you to write yes if you do. And if you don't, write no in chat. And we'll take a look at that later, but please continue. And what ended up on hers, nobody knew anyone that.
I want to say something that was crazy. I went to Walmart today.
Mm-hmm.
Every single thing that had to do with Lysol killing bacteria, shelves wiped completely clean.
And toilet paper.
All the toilet paper, we're talking some crazy stuff, guys. We're talking about an epidemic that can only be created by mass energy. Okay, the more people who feed into this, it's like one big huge DNA. That's what I want to say, right? Like mass energy is like one big huge DNA. It's like an imprint. So what it does is it imprints everybody. And then when mass energy is what they create from these lower frequencies, there's a lot of lower frequency beings on this planet. I'm just here to tell you right now. And they're slowly but surely being kicked out, being moved off. But it is something that is causing a big pandemonium of fear. And fear is what feeds them, okay? Feeds them so that they can create. So
what if it was just the regular flu that some of these deaths were caused from, which happens? How would they know otherwise? You know, people are going to get the flu. Some people are going to die from the flu, unfortunately. you know,
So the flu virus, so now people think when they have the flu that they've got coronavirus. I mean, I've been hearing it all over the place. It's crazy. And, you know, and I'm not knocking anybody in healthcare, because believe me, you guys, I believe that you guys are doing what you can with all this and everything else. And maybe you don't believe in this energetic field of energy, but it's out there. It's true. It's real. I'm here just to kind of, you know, give you a more, I guess, spectrum of what's out there in energy and what energy really truly is. We are made of energy. We're made of energy and water. So the same thing, you know, the water experiments that they did, you know, you say something negative to water, you see how it forms. That happens in our bodies. That happens within us. You know, being able to see into the body's form and everything else, I see when somebody, you know, it speaks a lot of negativity about themselves. I see what it does to their cells, their tissues, their organs. I work with a lot of people that are, you know, have been fatally diagnosed. I've worked with people that all these different, you know, autoimmune to cancer to all these different things. And I'm, like I said, I'm not saying that, you know, healthcare isn't something that, you know, people need to stop going to or doing. That's your own prerogative. That's your free will. But what I'm saying is that energy is a big, huge part of our life. And when we understand it and we accept it, we'll understand and accept more of who we are becoming, which we are becoming more of a lighter being, meaning we're becoming more Christ-like. We're becoming more of that imprint, that blueprint, that consciousness. And, you know, you and I were speaking about it. Christ to me is light. Christ is the true spirit of our nature. It's not a person. It's not such a, it's a form, it's an energy. It's something that we, inside our hearts, we all have it. We have a, if you go into the body, like I said, we're energy and we're also water. If you go into the body and see the energetic makeup of your body, it'll blow your mind. It will absolutely blow your mind. The codons and all those things are all triggered or fired up or ignited by thoughts. That's how you are wired. So if a thought comes into you and it's negative, it's something that's lower than love, it's something lower than, you know, uplifting you, then don't let it in. Think of yourself as a big, huge vessel or a mansion. And you just had it, you know what? You just had it detailed. You just had it pimped out the way you want it. You know, you're not going to let somebody with shit on their shoes come in your home. You're not going to let them track it through your house, right? So why would you do that for your own self? Why would you allow that kind of energy within your body? It makes our telomeres die. It makes our cells die. It makes our whole body start to die from the inside out. And it's so important that we learn how to restore ourselves, because we weren't taught this. This isn't something we were taught when we were younger. This is something that we now all signed up for to come here to learn to do, right? And the DNA is really important because, like I said, you can hear something from somebody, and then if you accept what that person has said to you as a belief or as your truth or as whatever, then it's an imprint within you. And that is the journey that you will roll with. That's what becomes part of your life. That's what becomes part of your reality. So it's important what you accept and what you don't. And it's also important for you to go through and go through the beliefs that you believe about death, about life, about love, about every single thing you can think of. Because when you start unraveling it all, you'll be amazed. The only real true thing is love. Love is the only frequency there is. And all these other frequencies are either an extension of love, which is upward vibration, right? Or it's the opposite of love, and it's damaging, and it's hurtful to our being, and that's part of the DNA. You know, we are carrying, most of us are carrying our parents' DNA. Okay, that means blood cells, tissues, organs that have been passed down generation after generation after generation after generation. We wonder why some of these children, and I'm going to say this, but this is not saying that, you know, if you have a child that has any of this stuff, it's not saying that you're the cause of it. It's generations before you. Autism, all these different things. This is all stuff that has been, because these cells haven't been just regenerated and regenerated and regenerated and regenerated and regenerated. They're dying. They're in a form of chaos. And this is the reason why we have such an epidemic of all of the stuff that we have. It's not just the vaccines, which are another thing that, you know, they did to depopularize us. There's so much stuff, like I said, that has been happening. The government used our DNA. They allowed for us to be experimented with. They allowed for our DNA to be tampered with. They allowed for this MK Ultra, all this different stuff to see how behavioral works.
They also take and store our DNA through programs like 23andMe.
The reason why they did that, the reason why they brought the 23andMe was so they could see, so in your DNA, you also have a, like I said, Christ imprint, blueprint, okay? So they know who in that blueprint through that 23 DNA, government knows who is the ones who are subjected to that light.
I think they know as far down as what star family we come from, honestly. Not just here terrestrial, but extraterrestrial.
They know exactly everything about us. They know it all the way down to our cellular level. I'm going to let you know that right now. The thing is, this is what you guys got to know though. This is really exciting. So they can't see you or hear you when you're in a higher vibration. We could be talking right now and they could be tapping in and they would hear nothing but a bunch of fuzz going on. And the reason why is because it's not in their frequency. When you elevate yourself to a higher frequency, they no longer exist. They no longer exist. You don't let them in your mind. You don't let them in your heart. You don't let them in your sexual organs. You don't let them in anything, right? And you're in a higher frequency. So they can't harm you. They can't hurt you. They can't do anything to you. They can't, there's just no way that they have any entry into you. And see, that's what I'm saying is that's why the DNA is so important to protect, right? Divine boundaries is what I call it, because it's important for us to understand that once we've cleared our DNA, like when I do an activation on somebody, I clear their DNA. They have a clean slate. They start from the very beginning of their existence, right? So whatever they put in afterwards, that's totally on them. You know, I give them options, opinions, insight, whatever it is, but free will is free will, okay? And that's going to be a standard thing on this planet forever. That's something that was, you know, given to us actually to grow and evolve, but it was also something that we as humans used in other directions, right? Defiance and everything else. Well, I'm not going to do it, you know, kind of thing. So that's important for us to understand, you know, is where we're at in our evolution. And a lot of us right now, we're awakening. We're waking up. We're starting to understand that they can't control us. The only way they can control you is through mind, through this, like I said, through your thoughts, right? Sexually, yes, they can. Plain and simple, I've seen so many entities that have been able to come through sexually. What we have to understand too is a lot of people on this planet right now don't even know that they are have these other lower frequencies attached to them or controlling them. You know, it's just something that every day they go through this routine. They go through, you know, go to job, go, you know, get up, go to job, come home, feed the kids. You know, this is something that they have subjected us into this revolving door, right? And until you open that door and say, this isn't the way it's supposed to be, then that's when you come out of their matrix or their game or whatever you want to call it. It's more of awareness than anything else. And when your DNA is activated, it starts making you more aware, starts allowing you to, you say codones, part of your codones opening up is where you become more aware, where you become more open to what's going on around you, where you become more, you know, like your security system's on in you. You know, your security cameras are lit up. You're not, you got your eyes wide open. You know, you're seeing things that right through the veils. You know, these are kind of things that is happening to us. And when we activate our DNA, it even brings that more forward. A lot of us are first fruits. That means that we came here to be mentors and guides for others. And we, our DNA is unlike many others. Our RNA is part of our like our makeup, right? So when I work with people like that, I work within their RNA. And their RNA is stored with all kinds of different abilities that you had in Atlantis or in different areas of your planetary system makeup. So it's very interesting about, you know, how much is within the DNA. Like I said, your codones, we have 64 of them to be opened, and it's very difficult to open them without having your security camera on and your security awareness of what's going on around you. And when you do start opening up, so I want to tell you this too, because they're aware, you know, they, like I said, they're able to see you at cell level. Okay, they're able to put things into your cells. There's so much stuff going on that's you know that's so just ridiculously sick, and will be exposed, and they will, you know, have to deal with what they've created. There's two creations going on. So there's one creation, the apocalypse, the death creation, the depopulation. This is a creation that's all of a lower form of energy. And then you have the creation that we all are part of, right? We're all part of this new earth. We're all part of bringing in a new life. We're all part of bringing in, you know, a new way of being, loving ourselves, valuing ourselves, honoring ourselves, restoring ourselves, really becoming a vessel that's compassionate and caring towards other people. And these two creations are almost like overlapping each other. You're seeing stuff being exposed daily, you know, political ring, you're seeing pedophile ring, you're seeing everything, church and state, you're seeing all of their creation being exposed. It's being exposed worldwide right now. Part of it is the fear epidemic. Part of it is all of this stuff that they've created, using devices, using HARP, using all these things. This is not created by God. This isn't our creator's creation. This is man's creation. Okay, so this is all stuff they have to have devices to do. Okay, and part of that is getting into our DNA. Part of it is playing with our minds. Part of it is, you know, once you start opening all this stuff up, they start messing with you financially. They start messing with you physically. They start messing with you mentally, you know, all these different things, unless you are awake, aware and awake, and then they can't. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I muted myself. I do a walk of gratitude nearly every day, sometimes multiple times a day. And in that walk of gratitude, I'll go through it real quickly for you. I'll say, dear Creator, Source, Universe, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels, friends and family on both sides of the veil, galactic neighbors and friends, higher self, and Mother Earth. I'm sorry if I don't say this as often as I should. Please forgive me. Thank you for your unconditional love, safety, support, protection, and abundance in everything that's good in life, as I promise to listen with open eyes, ears, mind, and heart. I ask that you help me turn on all the beneficial codons in my RNA and DNA so I can heal myself and others in humanity's best interests. More than anything, I love you all. And then I ask them to do a love bubble meditation where I ask them to magnify their loving, healing energy from their heart center and spread it out as far as they can throughout the planet, galaxy, universe, multiverse, and omniverse as we're walking back from where I do the walk of gratitude. So we're affecting everybody within a huge circumference. But I do that every day, and I ask that they help me turn on all the beneficial, because there might be some codons that are not beneficial to have activated. But
Not
I,
true. All
okay,
your
so
all your codons are meant to be activated. All your codons are, like I said, when the photon, so the codons, when they're mutated or they have been suppressed, right, by these lower frequencies, then the photons are not active in the codons. When I do the activation, I open up those photons in the codons. Like I was working on one lady one time, and I had the government that was watching this person that I was working on, and you could actually see her photons igniting and within her, and it was very interesting to see how the codons lit up after working with her, and all your codons are very important because each one has a different code of light within them. Okay, and we have all different star systems that are working in this that are put different light codes within each and every one of us. Okay, and so when these codons are opened up and they're lit up, the photons are lit up and they're sparking, then guess what? You start receiving your gifts, your abilities, your you receive crowns, you receive swords, you receive all kinds of different stuff, scepters, you receive all kinds of different things, rays of light, you receive all kinds of different things that are here to help us in our evolution of moving forward, of clearing Earth of everything that's been created in a lower frequency. So your codons, like I said, are very important for you to open them, and you won't open them any further than what light you can hold. Okay, so when you remove all the junk, then your whole body, your whole vessel, we're vessels. Okay, so a vessel is like something that you pour stuff into, right? So when you think of it that way, each thought that comes through you comes from spirit. So you're filling your body full of energy, our vessel, each thought we have. Okay, that's part of what's filling up our vessel. So if we're filling our vessel full of these lower frequencies, of I'm not worthy, or I'm this, or I'm that, or then all that's just negative energy and negative frequency within us, which then attracts more of that lower frequency to us, right? Because like I said, we're vessels. But if we allowed nothing but light to come through us, nothing but love, compassion, heartfelt energy to come through us, then that's what we are. That's what we emanate. That's what we give to every single person that we come in contact with. That's what heals people. That's what restores them.
You said you won't open any further codons than the light you can hold. What if you have a walk-in that's able to hold more light than what you are?
So walk-ins come in periodically. A walk-in comes in, and a lot of times when I'm working with somebody, that has happened where a walk-in has come into that person. And it's not, it's a soul contract that you've already made with this spirit that is to come into you because it's higher, it's already got a higher vibrational consciousness. And so a walk-in, when a walk-in comes in, then that walk-in is already equipped with the light that it was supposed to have when it came in. And it will, it's really strange because what it does is it kind of like integrates with your consciousness and allows you to start developing into that higher consciousness. A lot of people call higher self, people call it, you know, all kinds of different things are out there, guys. You know, you guys know, you've heard so many different things out there. But it's really about you know, our consciousness, being in a higher state of consciousness, being in a higher state of mind, being someone who no longer allows this lower frequency to rule you, to, you know, do all kinds of different things. You know, like our family dynamics are huge with this too, because, you know, a lot of us believe, you know, whatever our family has taught us, and we haven't really dissected what's that even mean. You know, when you came here, you didn't know anything, right? So everything you've learned has been taught to you, right? So it's really important to go through the book and find out what works for you that you've been taught, and what doesn't work for you anymore, and what, you know, what's bringing you to the next stage of evolution, and what's not, you know, what's keeping you back, what's you know, keeping you from really soaring. You know, a lot of us live in the past. That's a huge thing. You know, when you keep reflecting to your past, you're only going to, and in this energy field we're in right now, if you start reflecting on your past, you're going to repeat your past. I'm going to tell you that right now. We're in a field right now where either you move forward or you're going to stay behind, because that's where we're at right now. We're not, I mean, there's no more game playing here. This isn't, you know, oh, well, I've got, you know, another 7 years to get it right. No, it's whatever your consciousness is right now. You either need to be present and staying present and operate for what your future might become, and stay away from the past. You know, bringing up the past, people say, oh, you know, I gotta deal with that stuff I had when I was a child, my inner child, my inner this. No, you don't need to bring that energy back up. That energy's already been taken care of by the cosmic celestial shifting that's been happening. If you bring it back up, then yes, you're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to go through those trials and tribulations of it. And you're going to have to repeat whatever pattern it is, because evidently you didn't get over it then. So this is really important, you know, where we're at right now.
But you see stuff like that in people's DNAs. You see where they have these
Yeah.
imprints and stuff that are
Got it.
still stuck.
I see when they're stuck. I can see it energetically. I can see it when they're stuck. My friend Joyce Mason and I, we use a bioimaging field that she's got now that I'm so excited about, because it actually sees what I see. I've been seeing this for 11 years. Now they've got a device that can see it, you know, and so it's so exciting that her and I are going to pair up together, and you know, and she's going to, like, for people I work with and things like that, you know, a lot of people don't understand energy. So, you know, if they've got it in front of their face and they can actually see what's going on in their body, and they can say, whoa, okay, I'm seeing what you're saying now. And then I do a healing or a clearing on them, and then they see what looks like afterwards. They would be so amazed at what energy really does to the body. Okay, so how it holds in our body, how it pulls in our body, how it causes inflammation, causes rejection, causes all kinds of stuff, and the way it affects our relationships, guys, like so bad energetically. When we are with someone, this is what I want to talk about too, because twin flames is the next category I want to get into. But when we're in our field of energy, right, we were meant to be with a higher frequency being. Okay. Most of us that have done any kind of inner work, we were meant to be with a higher frequency being. We weren't meant to be with someone who, you know, is there to put us down, to abuse us, or any of that kind of stuff. But first, we gotta build that in us. It starts from the inside, and you gotta build that foundation, because we weren't emotionally, mentally, physically, or spiritually built when we were children. None of us were. We weren't even taught how to deal with our emotions. I know what I was told: go to my room. So I don't know about you, but I used to listen to music. That was music, and dancing was my thing to get it all out of me. I was like, yeah, you know, and that's how I worked my energies out when I was a child. But when we don't work our energies out, we end up just moving them into the next relationship we're in. Or we bring all this junk or the whole package. You know what I do? I do I do a test with some of my clients, and I have them carry around 3 potatoes with them, and they got to take them everywhere they go. Okay. And you know, after a while, these potatoes are going to rot out, right? So this is what they're carrying around with them. I used to do a bag of potatoes, but a lot of people didn't want to carry around a bag. So I'd have them put 3 potatoes in a like a Ziploc baggie and carry it around with them, you know, and they weren't able, they had to take it everywhere they went. And after a while, people started to understand how much rotten stuff they were carrying around with them. All right. Starts stinking. It starts, you know, starts getting all gooey and gross. And guess what? They started to see, they were like, wow, Tiff, you know, this is like what I'm carrying around inside me. And I'm like, yeah, but probably about 20 times full of that, you know? And that's what we do. We carry it around, and we keep carrying it around. We don't let go of it.
So let me put you on the spot. What do you see in my DNA?
So like I said, you got a really clear consciousness, meaning that you're really trying to clear yourself, but you do have a lot of past energy, like from your childhood. I kind of went into this a little bit earlier with you. I don't want to be personal about it, but you had a lot of abuse and things like that, and that's structured in your DNA. Abandonment structured in your DNA. Unworthiness is structured in your DNA. And so some of that has caused your relationships to pull into that, and for them to treat you in that manner, or for you to be used or taken advantage of. That kind of stuff's in your DNA. You also have an amazing blueprint too, that you're going to be helping millions and millions of people, not just with what you're doing on the radio, but you're going to be doing much more than that. Like, it's going to be very fruitful for you. But it is important that your inner structure is strengthened, and you remove a lot of this old past energy, because it's just been kind of playing games with you in your head. It's been playing games in your heart, and it's caused you a lot of limitation. It's caused you not to have the abundance that you're looking for. It's caused a lot of that. You have a lot of people that are drawing energy from you and trying to imprint your DNA. So it's important that you kind of have more of a divine boundaries than what you're carrying now. Part of that's within your DNA also. Like I said, your RNA, you have some amazing gifts. You too are a healer, and a very, very genuine healer. So genuine healer is different. You know, the natural healing that comes from, you can speak to somebody and you're healing them by speaking to them. You have that gift, and it opens up more and more. Like I said, the more light that you take in, the more that you become that spirit, right? So we're spirit first. And when we accept and acknowledge that we have a physical, we have a mental, but we're spirit first, right? And if we allow ourselves to really dive in and understand that we're spirit first, then the mental and the physical starts to harmonize with the spirit. right? But if you come from your physical, you know, you got to look good, your, you know, muscles and, you know, got all that stuff, and that's all about who you are, then that's who takes over you. And same thing with the mental, you know, they call it ego, they call it whatever you want to call it. It's just, it's plain and simple, lower frequency running your field of energy. And when we accept and know that we're spirit, spirit guides us, guys. I mean, we don't have to do anything. It's such a natural flow. It's like, you know, every day I wake up and I'm like, okay, God, show me what you want me to do. And that's how I work. That's how I roll. Every day I'm guided to different people, to contact different people, maybe send a message to somebody out of the blue. You know, I might, somebody I've worked with, I just get an insight that that person might need uplifted. So I send them the energy, you know, to uplift them. And that's what it's about. That's what we are about.
So we were talking earlier. Many of us in this genre are service to others, and so it's easy for other people to become like energy vampires to you, or you know, or to look to you to get energy from, you know, and it's understandable that because we are those service to others, we want to help everyone, even those who are, you know, using us for our energy or narcissistic or whatever, you know, so how do you deal with that?
So for myself, I've learned to love from a distance. Okay. That doesn't mean that I don't love you. I love you. That's plain and simple. But what I mean by that is I don't allow my energy field, right, to be overcome by energy that's not acceptable, that's not uplifting me, that's not bringing me forward. So like if someone comes to me and they need insight or anything like that, I'm there to open myself as a vessel. But as soon as I'm done giving that information, I close myself and my vessel, so that that information that I've given, or that insight I've given, or whatever, either it's accepted or rejected, however it's taken, it doesn't affect my energy field. Okay. So we do want to be open, and we want to be there for every person. We want to be able to do that kind of stuff, right? But if we have given more out than we are receiving in, meaning what you're giving out, you need to be giving twice that back to you. Okay. So a lot of times
That's easier said than done, though.
it is, but it's all part of self-love, and it's all part of the progression of learning what self-love is, and nurturing and valuing ourselves. And it's, you know, we've always been told, you know, give to others, you know, make sure that you're helping others, you know. So we've never been given the permission to help ourselves or to do for ourselves. So a lot of times, like when I was first starting all of my clearing and healing and stuff like that, I used to say to myself, I give myself the permission to heal myself. I give myself the permission to take time for myself. I give myself permission. Like I had to say it over and over and over and over again. And it was because I was never given the permission to do those things, you know, never even knew what that even meant. So I say a lot of times I give myself permission to do whatever it is that I need to do.
I give
And
myself permission to go to the beach and
yes,
ground and relax and have fun. And
yes,
yeah,
amen. Because that's something right there that brings joy to you. It's your
yeah.
passion, it's your serenity. So when, like a lot of times, you know, people, when you know, I lived in Naples, or live in Naples, and when I'm there in Naples, that's my serenity. That's my place. That's my healing. That's my time to really just chill. Yeah, this is my Zen time, right? So when, and I used to be on the beach, and I would have people walking up to me left and right, you know, and I would be like, okay, all right, this one, last one, you know, and I would sit there. And then there was times where I'd be like, okay, I'm going to such a secluded place. Nobody's going to know where I'm at. Okay. And I just recently been in the wilderness, the mountains, and nobody knows where I'm at. So that's where I've kind of kept it, because I'm really wanting to, you know, give me that time to develop my next level, my next, you know, space of what I'm going to be doing and those things like that. But one way that I have that is a way to like rid negative energy, or to keep that those what you call vampires, or people that, you know, are trying to suck you dry or whatever. So there's a, I don't know if I can stand up and you can see me. Let me try, but I think you might just catch my boobs. I want to see how you might be able to get me full here. Okay. So what I do is I rub my hands together, and I call it putting on the armor. Okay. So you rub your hands together and you get them really, really, really warm. All right. And then you take and you go from the back of your head over the top, like you're putting on your helmet, right? Go all the way down. You go all the way down to your feet. You go around them, all the way up the back part of you. And then you bring your hand across. You go down your arm. And then across this arm. And you come here. And then you bring your hands to your chest. Right? And then you do that breath. Breathe in, count of 7. Hold. And release. And you put your hands out to the side. And what you're going to do when you come out to the side, your body is going to, like mine's going to move, because as I'm on this call, I'm also clearing whoever's on this. So your body's going to move, because what it's doing is balancing. Okay. You just let it free flow. This is how you remove energy from your body. You want to do this in the nature. You know, you want to do it on either rock or dirt, grass, anything like that. Okay, so then you just kind of let your body adjust. Mine will here in just a minute. Okay, and then you thank the universe and for protecting you. And that's how you protect yourself from any kind of lower frequency energy. And it really works. It's almost like it puts on your armor completely and allows you to, you know, be you.
You know, I was thinking about what you were saying also before about the healing. I know that there are, you know, there's a lot of healing that I can do. I've used this as an example one time. My German Shepherd, Bogey, was really hyperactive, and my daughter and I were getting ready to have dinner. And so I do what's called quantum touch healing, where you rub your hands together, you envision that ball of energy. And I did that, and I placed it on my German Shepherd's head. He drops down to the ground, puts his head down, and goes to sleep. And my daughter goes, "Oh my God, Daddy, you killed him." I go, "You're next." She goes, "No." I go, "No, I was just kidding." But yeah, so I know that my hands are very powerful. And what I'm thinking is, you know, especially through these t-shirts that I'm making on in5d.net, you know, and sending them out all throughout the world. I mean, there's part of me that goes into every one of these shirts. That energy is everywhere. That's helping not just the person, but anyone they come in contact with too.
That is part of your healing right there.
Yeah.
Definitely part of your healing.
Yeah.
It is one of your gifts that you have, but it's also something that you're giving back to this world. And it, like I said, you're in your mission, your soul mission. Like that's another thing that we're being activated to is our soul missions. And you're in yours. You know, this is just part of it. Like I offered you my services, and I believe after that we do that session, I believe everything's going to open the doors for you. Because like
I can't wait.
I see the people, and I'm don't want to say too personally, but I see the people who have held you back from really soaring, and that saddens me, because you should have already been in your abundance. But of course, there's, you know, those who are jealous or envy of your life. You know, they either accept it or they reject it, guys. It's, I mean, I've lived with it my whole life, and it's, you know, it's just the way it is. But as far as like, you know, our relationships and things like that go, we're all meant to have a twin flame relationship. So I want to get into what that is and
Okay,
what that's about.
let's do that.
So twin flame relationship is where your soul has been split into, okay? A male form, female form, energy, okay? So you can take on a female energy, you can take on a male energy. That's, you know, subjectorial on that. I'm not going to get into gender because that's something that's crazy and stupid out there too. But what it is it's where the same frequency, same DNA makeup. This is what's cool. So you guys have had the same DNA print. You guys have gone through some of the similar traumas, some of the similar things in life. You guys have experienced the same learning things that you needed to learn and grow in this time. The thing is with twin flames is there's so much false information out there. There's so many people who think, oh, I got my twin and this, that, and the other, and they're in a relationship and everything else. The relationship starts within you, for one, okay? The relationship starts from you having an intimate relationship with Creator, period. Bottom line. If you don't have that, then you don't have a twin flame connection, because you still are dealing with all your junk inside, okay? And it's going to come out. It's going to come out even twice as much with a twin that you say is your twin, because the universe is going to say, okay, I'm going to show you what this twin's like for you, you know, because you're not doing this divinely, okay? So we were all brought together with the same frequencies, okay? And the reason why we've all had so many issues on our relationships is because we've been with people who are in the wrong frequency. They don't match your frequency. They weren't designed for you. They weren't meant for you. Yeah, we went through the karma. We learned what we needed to learn. We learned what to settle for and what not to settle for, right? So the best way to describe it is God's designing this person for you as you're designing yourself, right? Source is designing this person. And you may see them in your dreams. You may have physically met them and parted ways until you actually build this inner foundation of loving yourself, valuing yourself, and honoring yourself, and having an intimate connection with the divine. You will not come to union with your twin. There's too much stuff that needs to be cleared out. There's too much stuff that needs to be removed from that relationship. This is how deep a twin flame relationship is. You two are one soul, two forms, okay? So what does that mean? That means mentally, physically, spiritually, sexually, financially, in every single aspect, you guys are one. One. So if you have an unawakened twin, then it can be harboring your financial, it could be hurting you physically. It could be harming you physically, especially if they're out there having sex with all kinds of different people, because it starts deteriorating you from the inside, because you guys are one soul. Okay. So this stuff is deep. It's not, and you guys, what happens is you start first developing the love for yourself, because that's where it all starts. And then you start having a connection to divine source. And then telepathically, you start having conversation, hearing conversation. And then you physically are drawn together. You meet them, right? Once you meet them, it ignites, like it ignites every part of your body. For me, when I saw mine, I saw in his eyes, I saw me. I saw my design. I saw my life. I saw my foundation. I saw everything I've been building in him. And it was like the most incredible energy I've ever felt in my whole entire life. It almost felt like an energetic cosmic orgasm is how I could explain it. It just whooshed right through me, and I was like, what the was that, you know? And then I couldn't understand why I saw myself in his eyes for the longest time. But I'd seen these eyes ever since I was a child. Ever since I was a little girl, I saw them in every dream I ever had. And I realized that the reason why I didn't see his physical form was because God was designing him. And after I saw him in his physical form, I was like, wow, you know, this is the guy that God designed for me. And he also has to go through, and this is another thing too, you guys, well, if you guys know who your twin is, then you know what? You can't judge that person. You can't criticize that person for whatever they're doing, for anything they're doing. Because I'm going to tell you what right now, you guys are two forms, one soul. You judge him or you judge her, you're judging you.
Let me ask you real quick, how often do twin flames incarnate with one another? Is it every time, or is it rare that that actually happens?
So as far as incarnation goes, most of the time, and in this state of mind that we're in right now, this state and consciousness we're in right now, so many twins are coming together because we're clearing the planet. We're removing all of the old frequency relationships, all the tainted love. We're crossing it out, and twins coming together is what's bringing that forward. But in our past life incarnations, we can come together and then separate, okay? Or we can have relationships with that twin, but there's still a lot of karma that has to be, like, you know, removed before you actually can come to the union with that twin. Okay?
Would it be beneficial at times for them to remain on the other side to help you out?
So when a twin flame's crossed over, or if the twin flame's still in the afterlife, then yes, they do help you on your journey. They will be able to be there for you in your you know, your evolution of this journey, because this really is a journey about returning back to your soul and returning back to your divine origin, okay? And returning back to pure love. See, we run from pure love. I don't care who you are, but most of us will run from pure love. Why? Because it's so pure, we've never ever experienced it before. So that's why people say runner, chaser kind of thing. It's all formalities. It's all, you know, subjectorial on what your unique journey is. But as far as the twin flame goes, you're trying to remove everything that you are running from.
How often does someone recognize their twin flame, but he or she doesn't recognize him or her?
I think that happens more than you know. I think that the feminine energy has been more awakened than the masculine energy. We're seeing a big shift happening right now with the masculine, and thank you guys. I'm so proud of you. I mean, I give my heart to you guys right now because you guys really, 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 really dedicated to this journey. So thank you. But I see more times than often that the female has opened herself more to the relationship, and the male has kind of pulled himself away. And I think it's because in the old creation of man, there was a lot of unworthiness. There was a lot of, a lot of stuff that's been taught to us. There's been a lot of stuff that keeps you limited. There's a lot of things, temptations, all kinds of stuff. And so I want to tell you too, when you do go into this divine relationship, like I said, with yourself first, and then you connect to your masculine or your feminine, you have to treat it as if you're spoken for. If you go out and you say, oh, I got my twin and da 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 da, and and I'm in love with my twin and all this stuff, and then you're out checking out Mr. Joe Blow here, or Sally Hallie over here, then guess what? You're opening your energy field to another person, which then crosses out your twin's energy completely. And you have to remove that energy out of your field before that energy comes back to you. And that's difficult because a lot of people don't understand that, you're like I said, you're two forms, one soul. So you're harming yourself by that too, by you opening yourself to other people's energies. There's temptations that show up. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've had many show up. And I've had decoys because these lower frequencies are aware of this twin flame relationship. I've had so decoyed where they've verbatim spoken to me what was in my journals that I speak with my twin flame about. Verbatim. I mean, every single word that came out of my journal, he spoke it straight to me with the same name. So it is there, guys. You have to really be aware and awake. And you have to, and if you're not awake and you're not aware, you're going to think, oh, this is my twin, and you're going to go into this and you're going to, every single thing that you've built inside is now going to be given to that other person. So what we have to understand too is, like I said, we're a mansion. We've got a lot of treasures up in us, guys. And so when you give yourself sexually to somebody, you're giving your treasure. You're giving your being to that person. So you're opening up all your dreams. You're opening up this big, huge treasure box, and you're saying, here you go. Guess what? Take all the gold you want. Go ahead, rob me. I don't care. Take it all, because that's what happens. Not only that, but it takes your beauty away. It takes your grace. It takes from the male aspect of it. It takes your worthiness away. It takes your vulnerability away, your confidence away. So we really have to understand what this twin flame relationship is, right? Because it's important. If you want your twin, you want this pure love, God's willing to give it to you. But what are you willing to do to receive it? You have to. You have to be dedicated to it. It's not something that's easy, because guess what? If it was easy, every single person would be doing it, right?
Okay, I have a question for you. I have a bisexual friend, and I've known her for, a long time. She's a great person, love her dearly. She was married to a man. They had a child, beautiful little girl. They ended up getting divorced. Then she was married to this woman who looked like John Lennon, but she was a woman. And they ended up getting divorced. And now she has a new girlfriend. So how would she know? She's bisexual. How would she know if her twin is a male or a female?
So what is she predominantly? So in our
I think well, she posted pictures of her relationship with the John Lennon looking dude or woman or whatever. I'm sorry, I'm butchering this, but I would say she's the female, but she does have masculine tendencies. She's
okay.
A little both, honestly. She's,
So our main objective is to balance our masculine and our feminine energy within us and
yeah.
remove duality. Okay, that's our main objective with this twin flame relationship. Okay, so as far as whether it might be male or female, that would really going to have to depend on once she's built her inner foundation, then her outer foundation will be designed in that same aspect. So it really depends on, like I said, where she is. So if she's more male, then female, male.
She's
Like
pretty balanced. So yeah, it's
if
hard to
she's pretty
say.
balanced, then it would, like I said, then it would be her gender preference. Like if she's bisexual, then it would be when the design comes together, it would be her gender preference. What does she dream about? Does she dream about being with a man, or does she dream about being with a woman? And that would be kind of what it is. So the way I look at it is I'm designing myself to be the woman of every man's dreams, and God's designing the man of mine. And that's the way I look at the way I perceive my relationship with this divine source creator, because that's how I see it. I see it as, perfecting myself to be the best that I can be. And in return, hopefully ripples will come from that.
Yeah. I have a question from the chat room from Cosmic Wisdom. Do you look like your twin?
That's another thing that I want to say. Yes, you do. And as this is what's really crazy, guys. So as you start to clear you, okay? So you may be clearing you, and you might be the feminine, and you're clearing yourself and everything else. Well, your divine masculine is receiving your inner foundation. So he's starting to look younger. He's starting to restructure. He's starting to restore. All this good stuff starts happening to him, whether he's awake or not. Okay. And when the feminine does the same, and the masculine's doing it for the feminine, then that too starts being something that you start to see. So you start seeing yourselves looking more like each other, having the same kind of traits, some similarities. I believe so. They always say opposites attract. Well, in a divine relationship that's from the creator, you guys are so much alike. You guys are twins. You guys are so much alike. You guys look alike. You guys act alike. You guys like the same things. It's your best friend. It's your you hear their thoughts. The reason why.
What if they are the exact opposite? Doesn't that balance it out though?
It ends up coming out, like I said, the duality removes itself from the relationship, because that's what opposite is. Opposite is duality. So it starts removing that stuff out of the relationship, and it starts becoming very, very synchronized and harmonized. Now, as far as weakness and strengths, that's where you guys are, you see the scale of, like this. Because where you're weak, they have the strength. And where you're weak, they, same difference. So that's where you see the opposites, or whatever you want to see, attract, right? Because you're there to help build them, and they're there to help build you. And they're there to help you with your weaknesses, and you're there to help them with theirs.
So why do twin flames run away from us?
So this is why I said, so when you come together, right, and let's say you've done the work, all right, you love yourself, you value yourself, you nurture yourself, you trust yourself, you do all this stuff. When we come in contact with that person, it's an energetic charge that charges them from their feet to their head to the toes. And it sends this energy through them that they've never ever experienced before. Scares the living shit out of them, to be honest. And so the first thing they do is backtrack. They're like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. And if they haven't worked on themselves, then they start feeling unworthy. So they run further and further away from it, right? They feel unlovable. because this is pure love. This isn't a love that we were taught from our parents. This wasn't a love that we were given from another relationship. This is pure love. This is our soul showing love. Okay, there's a big difference there than our heart showing love. Okay, so it's almost as if you're sending an energetic charge to them and they don't know how to handle it. They don't know what to do with it. They honestly, they're just like, whoa, okay, what did I just experience? You know, and the chemistry is so, it's so your electrons, your codons, your every electron in you matches. You guys are like a puzzle piece that comes together. And once you guys come together, it just like whoop, molds, right? And so once it molds together, that's it. You guys are like totally complete, whole.
Someone's took over the screen share thingy here. I don't know what they're doing. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
I don't know what happened there, but anyway, so that's what happens. You guys are like a puzzle piece. Sexually, you guys come together and it's the most dynamic sex you've ever had in your life. It rocks you from your head to your toes. And before you even have that physical sexual intimacy, you guys have a telepathic sexual intimacy. You guys have a connection that's so strong. You have cosmic orgasms all the time. You can say their name and boop, hi. You know?
Wow.
You can be driving and feel them touching you. It's like tantric, but it's divine tantric energy that, you know, that's coming through. It's so amazing that we are being able to be gifted this kind of a relationship, because we've all had so many tainted relationships in our past, you know. And like I said, the one thing that I can tell you guys, if you guys are experiencing a twin flame relationship, or you're in one, or you believe you're in one, that's something that I activate too. I activate both twins through the activation I do. If they're activated already, then it draws you two closer. It also, if your twin is crossed over or passed or anything like that, Gregg is somebody with twin flame project, and his girl passed away, and she came to me, and I ended up connecting with him and bringing the two energies back together to source them so that they would interconnect here on the physical. So if you feel that, you know, your twin has passed over or is still in the etheric realm or whatever, a lot of them are walk-ins right now. A lot of them are coming in. Walk-in is somebody that kind of comes in and takes over, like when you're activated. So this is happening all over the planet. It's a higher consciousness being who has a soul agreement with your vessel, okay, to come within you and become your being here. They're already know your background. They already know everything that's happened to you. They already have had all of that kind of acknowledgement and are equipped also with many other soul gifts and things that, you know, you didn't have. And so they come and they walk into somebody here that has opened their vessel for that, which there's a lot of us who signed up for that.
So you mentioned that, you know, you've helped people who have crossed over reunite with their twin that's still here. Can you have more than one twin flame, perhaps a triple flame or a threesome flame?
Well, Gregg, no, there is just your twin flame. I've heard, like I said, now there's decoys. Believe me, there is. They look it, they act it, they have the foundation you're looking for, but it's inside that you better be looking at. You better see if it reflects you. And if you can't see that, then you need to love yourself, value yourself, and honor yourself a little bit more so that you can. Discernment comes with that. It comes with that foundation, that inner foundation that you start creating. You learn discernment. You learn, you know, that there's a lot of, like I said, temptations out there. But as far as threesomes and all this other stuff, like I said, there's a lot of false information out there. There's a lot of these lower frequencies they knew. So this is going to be interesting, but these lower frequencies went to the future. Okay, they found out exactly what and how Earth was going to change. They came back and they put a control system. New World Order, all this depopulation, worked with the government, all this kind of stuff. And this is how it all started happening. They brought in transgender, the whole thing started happening underneath that ordinance, okay? That's all false creation. That's all. And I'm not, if you are transgender, I'm not judging you at all. I'm just saying that that's part of the frequency that is not God's creation. So it's been something that's out there now that, you know, we're seeing revelations, we're seeing stuff being exposed at such a mass rate right now. It's crazy. But we're also seeing how many people are being swayed off their path. You know, that's what I'm talking about with this twin flame relationship. That is part of what our journey is to develop this relationship within us, an intimate relationship with divine source. And then God gifts us with that divine source, an extension of that divine source, and a workable a workable source, you know. So physically, he gifts us, which is amazing. You know,
let's say hypothetically,
mm-hmm.
a husband has a child with his wife, but the husband, for some reason, passes. Could he come back as his child?
So this goes off the top of that other energy, but yes.
Just to be with his twin. Yeah.
That I was talking to you about as far as, so I want you guys to know that twin flame energy comes in different forms. Okay. Twin flame energy can come as an intimate relationship, or it can also become like what he was saying, where one crosses over and they come back as your child or your aunt or your uncle or your best friend or whatever. They're there to help you evolve and help you move forward in your progression of evolution. Okay. That divine love is with them though. Like, I mean, they love you so purely that you'll never find another purer love than that. And that happens within the divine relationship too. But that's a different type of energy. It also could mean that, so I've had it where a son is crossed over and he actually was his mother's twin. And when he comes back as a walk-in, he will be his mother's twin flame. So, I mean, you know, it sounds crazy. It might sound, you know, a little bit wonky, but the energies of the sun would no longer play a part. It would be in the eyes. So our eyes are the key to our soul, the book of our soul, right? And so, like I said, when I saw my twin, I saw in his eyes, like it was instant what I saw. And when we look in our eyes, that's where we are able to, you know, see all kinds of stuff. Like for me, when I do remote healing, I ask for a picture because I want to see your eyes. I want to see that in what that whole structure is within you. And that helps me to actually be able to dive that deep. So.
What's the difference between a twin flame and a very loving relationship that's not a twin flame?
Okay, so I've had this a lot. So soulmates are what you would call a loving relationship. So a soulmate is someone that you have signed an agreement with, that they are here to help you either learn what love is. They're here to prepare you for your twin.
Someone's singing Foreigner right now. I want to know what love is.
I want you to show me.
Right?
Yeah, but seriously, that's what it is. It's where, they're here to actually give you the design of what your twin should be. And a lot of times the relationship really works out because you guys are both trying to evolve each other, and you guys are both, there to really help each other grow spiritually. A soulmate is that kind of energy for that. And a lot of times they're brought together so that karmically you guys are both removing stuff, and a soulmate is there to help you, do that without the pain and the trauma behind it. So a good relationship is someone who, sees you and like accepts everything you are, and doesn't judge you, criticize you, put you down, doesn't have any kind of blockage within them. And that's hard to find because, like I said, so many people are walking around, they don't even know it. Like literally, people don't know. Like I can see like all their stuff. They're carrying all this stuff everywhere on them, and it's like, whoa, dude, or golly, you need to go do some clearing here. But they don't even realize it. It's like I said, every day it's the routine that they're playing, and they're just keep going through it. It's just a routine. It's a ritual.
Here's a great question from the chat room from Crypnosis. What happens in the case of identical twins and their twin flames?
Okay, so this is really cool too. So there are cases where you have twin flames, I guess you could say. And in that case, those two are really seriously, their energies are so enmeshed, like not energetically enmeshed to the point of like traumatic enmeshed, but they're so combined that they make up like even more of a oneness of their energies, right? So and there's very few of them, to be honest with you. There's very, very few out there that are in that script or have signed up for that agreement as far as our planetary alignment goes.
When twin flames live a long distance away, is one usually afraid to make that travel to the other?
Not when it comes to, like I said, this is the biggest part of it. When a twin flame, when you heal you, right, and you've built this inner foundation, it's almost like you guys are like a magnet. Okay, so it don't matter if he lives in Africa and you live in California, you guys will find each other. It's just a magnetic force that comes together. Okay, you could live in Florida and the other person live in Pennsylvania. Your guys are going to come together. It's you could be in India and the other person be in Japan and still come together. It's an energetic force that is divinely, so it's like a divine intervention, to be honest with you. You guys are two magnets that are just going to be drawing yourselves to each other. And once you guys come together, you guys are complete and whole. So you're complete and whole by yourselves, but then when you guys really come together, you guys are just one complete force, right? And why the twin flames are here is, like I said, we have a mission to bring pure love on this planet, to remove any kind of lower frequency of love. you know, this man-made creation of God, this man-made creation of Jesus, this man-made creation of religion, this man-made creation of politics, this man-made creation of government. All of that stuff is what we are all combining our energies to dissolve. The more that we release and let go of, the more light comes onto this planet, and the more light is being, you know, the driving force. And not only that, but the more that's exposed. And so guess what, guys? We are doing a damn good job, because look at all the stuff that's being exposed. I mean, we're seeing it, like I said, at all levels. There's nothing that can be hidden anymore. Nothing. And we as a collective have created this. We've come together, we've unified, we've put our visions together, we've collaborated. With this show right now, In5D, with what you're doing, you're bringing sources together in collaboration, and that's a huge thing. You know, when two minds meet, you got mastermind, and you know, we got one hell of a mastermind going on tonight. You know, with everybody here, so it's you know, it's what we're doing.
Do you have like specific telltale signs of that people can say, okay, yeah, check, check, check. That falls into it, and the category and so on and so forth. Is there like a top 5 signs that you can look for, or 10 or whatever?
So I would say in the twin flame relationship, what to look for is, I would say that, for one, that you both can see each other in each other. Like, you know, through what you're doing, through what your missions are, what your goals are. Those kind of things are very important, that you guys see those integrating. Another thing is like I said, that electrifying energy, right? That just, you can't keep yourself away from them. You can't stop thinking about them. They keep coming to your thoughts. So one of the reasons why they come to your thoughts so much is because when you come into a twin flame union with your twin, then the thoughts that you're hearing, you're not to express those thoughts. You're there to give them insight for those thoughts that you may be hearing, because you're hearing your twin flame's emotions or feelings, and you're there to comfort that. You're there to uplift them in that space. So we're there to hold space for them. So another things that you know, when you are in this twin flame relationship, what tell signs are for that too, is that you really have a desire to be compassionate to this person. You see them in a light that maybe nobody else sees them in. You actually have a physical, it's not a normal physical attraction, to be honest with you. It's more like your energies are so connected that you guys are drawn together. It's not so much like, oh my God, that guy's so hot, or that girl, oh my God, you know, she's got it rocking. It's not that. It's beyond the physical. It's so deep that your heart feels it, if that makes sense. Like for me, my heart palpitated like you wouldn't believe. When I saw him again, I vibrated from my head to my toes. So, I mean, it's something that, you know, it's so different from any kind of physical relationship that any one of us have had any kind of experience with, that it's, you know, it opens you in a way that you've never been opened before. And it opens you to love, you know, a love that's so pure that you crave it. You know, it's almost like addictive. It really is. Once you're so involved in it, it's almost addictive.
Okay. Now, I love time travel movies, and I could recommend probably a dozen of them. Are there any like twin flame movies that you would recommend?
Oh, so that's a good one, because I have watched a couple. There's one I'm not really good with movie names, so apologies already. out there. But there's one where there's a, gosh, I want to, not, like I said, it's where they're in heaven. There's two of them that are in heaven, and they were babies first, and then they got sent back to Earth, and the one ended up in heaven, and he still was there, and she was on Earth, and she could hear everything telepathically that he would say to her. And then he was able to come to Earth and walk in on, you know, with somebody, I can't remember, Heaven Help Us, maybe. I can't remember what it was called, but it's a really, really good movie. But I'm sure if you Google it, Google has all kinds of answers there.
What dreams may come? Somebody put that in the chat room.
What dreams may come?
Arms of the Angels. That's another one that's been put in the
so that one sounds familiar. Arms of an Angel sounds familiar to me too. Yeah. But you know, there's probably lots of them out there. Like I said, the telepathic communication is pretty freaking awesome, because you really start, for myself, okay, so with my abilities, gosh, my twin was one of my clients, so it was very opening to me. Like, I got to read every single thing that was in him, and because he was my twin, it even opened up more books in him for me to read. And it was very, like I said, it really allows you to know them on a personal frequency that they would never open up to anybody else at. Like, they feel safe in your energy. Okay, so that's why telepathically you guys start having this exchange, and then it becomes, like I said, where you can feel them physically. You can feel them, you know, you can feel their breath on your neck. You can, you know, feel them touching you in the shower. I mean, it gets really real. It's pretty wild, to be honest with you. Once you integrate your souls and you integrate your beings together, it's, you know, you go through, like I said, the first initial connection where it's ignited, the twin flame energy is ignited, and then you physically come together once you've, you know, started that connection inside you and building that love and that trust within you first. And then the telepathic communication starts. You start feeling that energy. And like I said, first it's going to be, it's divine creator, you know, like it's, you know, Mother, Father, God. It's that's what you're connecting to first. And so even if you know the name of that person who's your twin flame, you want to keep it with the creator. You want to keep that energy where you put the creator first, and then they're the extension of that to you. That's very important, because if you put them on a pedestal, then the same thing, you know, you're giving them every single thing in you. Okay. And if you're not receiving, if they're not giving you anything in return, then guess what? You're like losing out. You're just dishing it all out to them, right? But what you want to do is you want to hold space for them, and you want to give them confidence, and you want to give them courage, and you want to give them love, and you know, and if you feel them and you can feel like, okay, so this has happened to me several times. Like, I've been out and going to meet a couple people, and all of a sudden I feel jealousy, and I'm like, what in the world am I jealous about, right? And it's not my energy, it was his energy. So it was almost as if I had to throw confidence his way in order for that jealousy energy to dissipate. And it was automatically, you know, or let's say I'm in such a amazing mood and I'm all happy and everything else, you know, I'm dancing, having a good old time. And next thing I have a feeling of feeling depressed or feeling down or anything like that. That isn't my energy. Okay, so it's really where you have to define what's yours and what's theirs, right? And if it's theirs and they're depressed and they're in that energy, then you need to send them energy to boost them up. You just send them a wave of love, you know, and that's holding space for them. Like I said, you're two forms, one energy. Okay, So whatever you're giving them, you're also receiving that energy back. Okay. It comes in different ways. It feels differently, but you're receiving it. And you open yourself to that for them.
Here's one from Prop Mama, who in YouTube chat, she's asking, what if your twin is dating someone else, but can't stop talking to you?
Okay, so this is what's happening a lot to a lot of people. And like I said, I feel you, I understand. So you hold space for him. You hold space for him, meaning that he's still got karma that he's got to take care of. You know what? You let him do his thing. You let him go out there and get whatever he needs to get out of that, because it's only preparing him more for you. The more that you are like, oh my God, he's out there with some other girl and all this, the more that he's going to stay away from you. The more that you pull yourself away and hold space for him, the more he's going to be like, oh crap, I might lose this girl. And if I lose this girl, I'm screwed. So it's important for you to hold space for him, give him the leeway to do what he needs to do. If he's talking to you and everything else, then you keep it at a friendship level with him. Don't give him any more than what he's giving you. You don't open yourself to where you're being used. So it's important for you to protect yourself divinely, divine boundaries. You know, it's your twin. Like I said, you give him that energy of, you know what? I'm holding space for you. You go do what you need to do, because I know whatever you're having to go through is important, because you're not ready for what we need to go through. If they're in a different relationship, guys, if they're in a karmic relationship, because that's what it is, then that means that they have lessons that they have not learned in relationship, or that they still are wanting to feel unworthy or unloved, and they're not building that inner foundation. Okay, so that means that you go about you, do you. But remember, always keep it as you guys are two forms, one energy. So that means that you can't judge them. You can't like criticize them. You can't yell at them. You can't scream at them. You can't tell them what to do. You can't do any of that kind of stuff. That's all old frequency relationship energy. This is not the same. They'll run from you even more and more and more. You'll never get that relationship. You'll never come to union. You have to come to union with you first. Like, you become that merged energy. You already have that energy within you, and you already are emanating that energy of wholeness to anyone you come in contact with. You know, it's like a swagger energy. I mean, people come up to you and left and right, you know, and it's because you're holding that to a wholeness. You're not, you know, judging somebody, and you're not criticizing them, and you're not looking at them differently because they're doing what they're doing. You know, I have so many people that, you know, they're like, well, you know, he's talking to this other girl, or she's talking to this other guy. Well, you know what? If they're talking to somebody else, then they're not ready for your relationship, and you need to build yours within you. That's just what it's about. It's more, so the journey is us, right? We becoming whole and complete, where we don't have to have that person to complete us, or we don't have to have that person to sit there and say, oh, you're so beautiful, or you're so handsome. Oh my God, I can't live without you. We don't need that. That's not what this relationship's about. This relationship is about you being whole and complete in you. You feeling beautiful. You feeling handsome. You feeling as though, you know what? If I didn't have my inner divine relationship, I'd be screwed, right? It's where you're complete, where you're living your life and you're doing your thing, and you're holding space for this other energy, because that other energy is part of you.
I know some women that go from relationship to relationship. And how often would it be that they would miss out on their twin because they're settling for someone else, and they're in this dead end relationship because they just want to have that feeling of love, which is why they go from that relationship to relationship, but miss out on the twin who's might be like the next town over, or same town even, or just in their, thoughts constantly.
Well, there's so many people that are in that frame of mind and consciousness too, you know, that they bounce from one relationship to another just to fulfill their own desires and their own satisfaction. So this isn't what this relationship's about. This is not about fulfilling your desires and your satisfaction. This relationship is about really truly loving yourself from a soul aspect, meaning loving every inch of you, whether it's, you know, doing something you don't approve of, or anything like that. Like, a lot of times I work with people and they're like, well, he's doing this and she's doing that and I don't approve of it. Well, then you know what? That's something that you have to come to terms with, because he's part of you or she's part of you. So inside of you, it may not be that you approve of it, but it's something inside of you that might be less dark than what theirs are. It might be like addictions, so to speak. Okay. So like if they have addictions, then you might be addicted, but you're addicted in certain different ways. You might shop, that's your addiction, where theirs is, going out and drinking. So it's all the same. It's just when you start criticizing and judging those that are in your energy field, that they are in your energy field, then you will be judged for that yourself. And not only that, but you'll feel that judgment come upon you.
I think control would also be another issue that would fall in there, trying to control others.
Yes. So narcissistic. Okay. So this is another thing that we, need to touch base on. So what we're finding out right now is a lot of people are in this narcissistic consciousness. Okay. And what that is it's where, they pretty much lift you up, smash you down, take advantage of you, use you, all this stuff. They believe in, polygamy. All these different things are going on right now. And we're seeing it. We're seeing it wide open, right? All that is all old creation. That's all old creation energy. That's all template from the dark. Okay. That's not what we're going into. So we're removing all that narcissistic programming. We're removing, so a lot of us, when we were children, we really didn't have the best models for our relationships. I'm going to be straight up with you. We didn't really get to see this divine love in our relationships. When we were children, we didn't see it in our homes, for one, right? We didn't see it in, grandparents' homes or any of these things. So, it's something that we're not really aware of. And so because we're not aware of it, we've settled for it. All right. So what we've settled for is we've settled for a less than frequency relationship. Right. I hear a lot of times, well, people make these lists. Okay. This is what I want. I want this, I want that. I want to check this and this and this and this and this. Right. And then they meet this person and they're like, well, it's okay if he doesn't do that. Or it's okay if she does that. I can deal with that. That's okay. But yet you've already gone off what you originally had put in your print, right? So that goes back to the DNA. You're imprinting yourself with this, okay? You're imprinting yourself with your relationships values and morals. That's huge. This is a different standards of values and morals. And that's what we're seeing out there right now. We're seeing people with no values, no morals, who don't give a rat's ass about marriage, don't care about relationships, don't, it's a joke. If you want to be honest, dating is wow.
Isn't marriage still kind of a joke? The rings that you exchange are the rings of Saturn, made in the church, under God with the creation of, I don't know. It just
Well,
seems.
as far as the marriage part of it goes, when you're in this divine twin relationship, it's called a sacred marriage because you're married to this energy before you even walk down an aisle, right? As far as what you're saying is, is that I believe that a lot of what has been created as far as marriage has been false. It's been a false creation. I think what we're coming into is going to be the divine creation of marriage, which is the sacred marriage, because you're already energetically connected. Your souls are connected. You're bonded at, like I said, mentally, physically, spiritually, sexually, financially. You're bonded. You're bonded in every aspect. That goes for your looks. It goes for every single part of you. You're having to understand that marriage is from the soul, and so it's a sacred marriage. There's a lot of words that have really gotten a lower frequency to them. Marriage is one, God's one. They created that so that when that frequency comes through, people will reject it, or they'll look up at it as it being something that's harmful. So we have to recreate this energy. We have to reform it, and this is what we're doing. This twins coming together is reforming the energies of love. Every one of you, and you can ask your chat room, how many people don't want pure love? How many people don't want a relationship that's pure? That you can tell them anything, you can say anything, you can do anything, and they're going to be right by your side. They're going to support you. They're going to be there for you. They're going to value you. They're going to honor you. They're going to show you a love that doesn't have conditions to it. It's going to be something that you're going to both grow in too. It's going to be something so passionate, and the chemistry is effing believable. Okay, so you're never going to lose that passion. You're never going to lose that like that flame, that spark, that fire. You're always going to have that because it's two souls intertwining together. And what that means is it's your spiritual energies and their spiritual energies doing a cosmic dance that just creates this motion that just keeps on producing. It never ever, the well never runs dry, right? In a relationship, you guys, when you have a regular relationship, that well runs dry. And when it runs dry, guess what happens? You guys, it's like splits, right? Because it's not the same frequency. It doesn't stay in the same frequency. And when you're in this relationship, it's totally different. It's, you're, like I said, you're bounded and covenanted to the creator, and given that energy, you're given yourself, your flesh, your vessel. You become that vessel and messenger for others, and you let people understand what love really truly is. I mean, it's something that many of us never even experienced.
Well, it's funny you said that, because when I was a kid, I don't recall my parents ever saying I love you. And I told that to my sister, my older sister. My middle sister's no longer with us, but I told that to my older sister, and she said the same thing. She doesn't remember that. Of course, now we always end with "I love you" now, and I'll say it to them throughout the day as well when I'm with them. When my daughter was born, that was one thing I thought, she's not going to have one day go by that she does. And I would tell her probably way too much when she was young, maybe 10, 15 times a day. I would tell her that I love her, and I still do that every day. I'm with her, I tell her that I love her multiple times, but it's not that many, 2 or 3 maybe. But it's so important to hear that I love you. It's so simple.
It's a word that, like I said, has a lower frequency. Love does, because it was created in a very false dynamic, and so when we hear it, A lot of us don't even believe it, right? Unless you love yourself. Because if you love yourself, then you know what love is, and you know what it feels like. You
People are
know,
singing Foreigner again. You know that. The last time I said that, there was like 3 or 4 people in the chat room that said, yeah, I had that going through my head also.
I heard it too. Yeah, well, like I said, music has a way of language that each person understands in a different way. If you ask me, I think music is the key to our heart, because it truly is something that's universal language that each person can understand at a level that's, acceptable in each person. So, and it's worldwide. That and dance, it's huge. And I think that plays. So this is another thing too. When you harmonize your energies with your twin flame, you you create a solfeggio symphony, and it really plays like the golden mean, and it plays, the golden ratio, and these different energy tones within your body. And that's what I'm talking about as far as keeping that flame lit, because it never goes away. That energy keeps playing that symphony and that harmony, and it's just like a constant swaying and moving, and it's like I said, the chemistry of the energy that is combined in a twin flame relationship is just unbelievable.
But with that in mind, do twin flames ever fall out of love or divorce?
So I want to say that they're not meant to. If they do, then I believe it's because either one or the other has not built a solid foundation within themselves. Because that would be like me saying, I no longer love myself. I no longer value myself. I no longer honor myself. You know what? I'm just going to do myself in. That's what that would be. Because, like I said, you're two forms, but one soul, one energy. So you have to act as if you're one instead of acting as if you're two people. You're not separate. That's what they mean by, that you're never separate, because you are two forms, one soul. And so you're never separate. Your energies are never separate. They always are exchanging. And like I said too, like if one has another person or energy in their field, okay, so this is where, like, if let's say you have a twin flame and they're dating somebody else. So when they're dating somebody else, then that energy that's in their field cancels out your energy. Okay. So you may still hear them, feel their thoughts, all those kind of things, except for whatever you're giving to them is blocked, because now you have another male energy, female energy that's blocking your energy from reaching them. Does that make sense?
Sure does. Appreciate that. Tara Dawn wants to know, are you currently with your twin since you have met your twin?
No, not with him physically, but I believe that we are on our way to union. I believe that a lot had to be exposed, and a lot had to be dismantled. And both of our structures were, from that old template. And I really had to become whole and complete in myself. And he did too. And so I think that I feel, and I also see, like I'm seeing mass amount of masculine moving into a new shift of energy. And so I'm seeing that play into him. And I'm seeing him coming more awakened. And the more I think that, so what I do too with my twin is I send him guidance. I can, it's crazy, but I can hear when he asks for something, like, like almost like when he's praying, I can hear him, what he's praying for. And then I'll hear Tiffany give him the answer through text messaging, and I will. So I think that being supportive of your twin, being there for guidance, but not telling them what to do, because that's not what we're here for. helping them, you know, giving them guidance as far as like, well, I tried this and this really worked really well for me on removing this, you know. Those kind of things are I think are important, you know, because you want to be able to be like that when you're together. So, you know,
And holding space in the meanwhile as well, like you were saying.
That's the biggest part, is holding space and acting. Your actions are the biggest thing. Okay, you can't say that you love this man or this woman and go out and play and be a player with every other man and woman in out there. Okay, period. You're not ready for a twin flame relationship, and they're not either. And you know, and if, like I said, if they're out there, you know, giving themselves away to other women or other men, then you know that's something that you have to sit there and say, okay, you know what, I need to build me, because if I don't build me, then this is a reflection of what I'm reflecting in him. So they're a reflection of you. They're a mirror of what your inner foundation looks like. Okay. So, you know, when you look at that, you look at it in all aspects. Okay. So you're looking at it financially, you're looking at it mentally, you're looking at it spiritually, you're looking at it in every aspect. Okay. And you say, oh my God, how is that mirroring me? And like I said, it may be lighter or it may be darker, but they're mirroring you. Okay. And so you have to kind of dissect what you need to heal yourself before you start judging and criticizing the person that is reflecting that mirror to you.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the biggest part of this relationship that people need to understand, is you guys are one, right? So you're like two sides of a coin. You know, you have to kind of come together. You gotta understand that you guys already energetically are together, right? Soul, you're already together. So mentally, you got to come together. Physically, you got to come together. Spiritually, you got to come together, right? Financially, you guys come together. It's almost like you build for each other. It's pretty, like I said, it's a really amazing thing when you start to take it in as one energy form, instead of separating it and saying he, she, right? Or she, he, whatever, however your, you know, your unification works, you know, because it's, like I said, it's worldwide what we're seeing with the twin flames. But there's a lot of false information out there, guys.
Mm-hmm.
You guys need to really, really, really research what you're listening to, what you're hearing, because that imprints the DNA, right? You hear something from somebody else that's had a bad twin flame relationship, well, and I'll never go back to that relationship, or I'll never believe in the twin flame relationship. Well, they're just throwing you off your path, or trying to anyway. And believe me, there's so many out there that are trying to do that. There's reasons for that. Like I said, this is, you know, when we collectively come together in this love unification energy, it's transforming this planet. It's transforming our bodies, our everything, our DNA. And as I said, every thought that comes through you is imprinting your DNA. So it's really time to, you know, look into what you're allowing in you. You know, what thoughts are you allowing in you? What kind of acceptability are you, you know, allowing with people around you? You know what? It's time to cut some of those people out. You know, if they're draining you and you're not receiving anything from them, like I said, it's time to remove them. And that's not, you're not doing it out of, you know, maliciousness. You're doing it to divinely protect you, your vessel. And as I spoke before, you know, people who are weak in their spirit, which means that they don't believe that they're spirit first, they can be very easily possessed by a spirit. So I can see the spiritual realm more than I can see the physical realm. So, you know, it's really not some good shit out there, guys. There's some really dark stuff out there. And I can see the entities and the different spirits that are latching on to people, and, you know, like people that have crossed over that have addictions. They're connecting to people on the planet who are weak in spirit and causing them to go out and use their bodies for their addictions. That goes with alcohol, it goes with drugs, it goes with all kinds of different things. Sex, it goes with all kinds of different things. You're seeing a lot of light workers, and this is really truthful right now, who are supposedly channeling higher entities. And what you guys don't understand is there's lower frequency entities in the astral realm. When you're meditating, this is something that people don't understand.
The fourth dimension, right?
The dimension is full of some really dark entities who are here to take over your vessel and cause you not to complete your mission here on this planet. So it's very important to understand that meditation is something that takes you from one reality to the next. Okay, that breath that I gave you at the very beginning, Gregg, that you want to do with your eyes open, because it's making you consciously conscious. It's making you aware. It's making you to where you too will be able to see what's out there, and what's connecting to other people, and be more aware of discerning what you're hearing, what you're feeling, what you're being subjected to. People don't understand that meditation is where they play with your mind. They that's an outlet for them. You know, I hear all the time, oh, my third eye's all the way open. Well, that's not a good thing, guys. And I've heard it so many times that it's unbelievable that they opened your third eye so that they had a way into your consciousness, so that they could play games, so that they could intercede into your meditations. And you know, yeah, they look good. They you know, make you feel one way or make you higher consciousness, or you know, but it also has a lot of ego built in it, and it's also got a lot of frequency, like I said, that they can use you as a target. They can use you to do their deeds. And what they're here to do is stop every single one of us from completing our mission, from reaching our full potential, from experiencing this pure love. So
You mentioned earlier, I was going to stop you, but you were on such a roll.
sorry.
But you said, you know, some people might feel I need to build me right now. And I bet you there's a lot of people watching right now. I know I'm one of those, because my last relationship ended over a year ago. And I feel like I'm still working on myself, you know, and I don't, I've never have been that kind of person that will jump from relationship to relationship. I know I got to, you know, go within and do my own work. And I just feel like, man, it just seems like there's more and more work that needs to be done. I could definitely use your help in clearing this.
Well, like I said, I'm offering it to you, Gregg. It's from my heart. I'm grateful to be able to guide you and open you up in that direction, definitely. For others that are willing to open themselves and really dive in, the first thing is start loving yourself. That is so imperative.
Easier said than done.
It's easier said than done. And there's so many, you know, like I said, false avenues of getting there. But the first thing is that breath I gave you, the breath of life. It really starts allowing you to take that 20 minutes every morning for yourself. You know, you would figure 20 minutes is a long time. I hear people all the time, but it's 20 minutes, Tiffany. 20 minutes. 20 minutes of your day for a healthier life, for more vibrant energy, for, you know, a connection to the divine. God, it's worth it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's important that you take that 20 minutes for yourself. That's part of self-love. That's part of, you know, that's what really, you know, there's so many people have so many rituals that they do. There's like, you know, people talk about, you know, all the stuff that they do in a day or whatever to clear their consciousness or to get a higher vibration and all that stuff. And it's really in the breath. You know, you breathe 24/7. If you breathe through your nose, so what you're doing when you're breathing through your nose is you're breathing in oxygen straight up to your brain, okay? Which goes straight to your pineal gland, which then allows you to have a very clear connection, which then sends that connection all throughout your body, and that's your control system. So when you breathe through your mouth, you're breathing in everybody else's energies, and all these etheric energies, these spirits come into you, and they get caught up in your cells and your tissues. They call it metabolic waste scientifically, but it's stored energy. And it takes 17 seconds for you to get one part of the breath that you just took when you breathe through your mouth to your brain. So we wonder why we always have headaches, or we always have, not clear on things, can't make clear decisions, can't, come to clarity with things. And that's the reason why. We were taught when we came out of the womb, we were spanked, and guess what? Our mouths opened. And guess what happened? That's when we took our first breath of death. And we breathed in those spirits. And that's what we've been doing for so long. When you're breathing through your nose, the reason why we have hair in our nose is it's to go ahead and filter out everything. We filter what we eat, we filter what we drink, but how many people filter what they breathe in? I mean, come on. This is your main thing that's keeping you alive, is your breath. So breathing in through your nose allows the right kind of receptors in your brain, your neuropeptides, to actually spark and activate and start working the right systems in your body. And you doing it 20 minutes a day is what brings you to a very much higher frequency. And as I said, when you're in a higher frequency, these lower frequencies can't touch you. They can't see you. They can't hear you. They can't mess with you. And they'll stay away from you. They're afraid of you. To be honest with you, when you get into a higher frequency, these energies are so afraid of you. It's almost like you're a virus yourself, because they're afraid you're gonna shut them down, because that's what you do.
Well, listen, Tiffany, I have kept you on for over 2 hours, and I appreciate. And there's been like so many more people that have questions, and we're just gonna have to come back and do this again, I think.
Oh, I'd love to.
But what I'm gonna finish up though, and it's a great one to finish up on, because it gives you a chance to tell you a little bit more about yourself. And this is from Stella. She said, "Would you be able to tell us clients if we're about to meet our twin flame, like if she or he is on the earth plane, and do you have a website?"
So my website's under construction, but I do have a website. It's intuitivednahealer.com. But you can email me at tiffany@intuitivednahealer.com. You also can, I'll give you my phone number. It's 352-426-5490. And I'm here for guidance, guys. I'm here to help each and every one of you guys reach what potential you need to reach and bring you to the next level that you need to be brought to. If I can, I know it's been running late and everything else, but I'd like to do an activation for everyone if you guys are all up for it.
Heck yeah.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to first do the breath. Okay. So I want you to do it 3 times. And all I want you guys kind of all say within yourself is that you release everything and anything that no longer serves you.
And keep your eyes open, right?
When you're doing it with me, no, we're going to, because I'm clearing. I've been clearing pretty much since I've been on this call, but we're going to really clear. Okay. So I want you guys to go ahead and close your eyes and breathe in through your nose to the count of 7. Hold and point your nose down to your heart and release through your nose. We're going to do this 3 times. Again, breathe in. Hold release. One more time, breathe in. Hold and release. Now repeat after me. I release. Repeat after me, guys. Greg.
I was saying it silent so people could focus on you.
Well, I want you to repeat after me.
Okay.
All right.
I release.
I release everything
Everything
and anything
and anything
attached to me,
attached to me,
within me,
within me,
or around me,
or around me,
through all time,
through all time,
space,
space,
multidimensional,
multidimensional,
through all existence.
through all existence.
I have forgiven
I have forgiven
myself
myself
and all of those
and all of those
I allowed to trespass against me.
I have allowed to trespass against me.
I release all unclean spirits
I release all unclean spirits
to return to their divine origin.
to their divine origin.
I forgive
I forgive
those who have taken
taken
my abundance,
my abundance,
and it is restored.
and it is restored.
I release
I release
all sexual energy,
sexual energy,
mental energy,
mental energy,
physical energy,
physical energy,
spiritual,
spiritual,
that no longer serves
that no longer serves
my divine accordance.
my divine accordance.
And I've made a covenant
And I've made a covenant
with the divine creator,
with the divine creator.
for I am his vessel,
Pardon me?
for I am a vessel
For I am a vessel
and a messenger
and a messenger
for many.
for many.
Okay, take a deep breath. Hold and release. Okay, so now I'm going to speak a little bit of light language. Isharabati dove keshiraktiando sumakiatia, no so de shedabakatia, donde sumiatiata, onde veashetikeron do shemefiataka, ondo semeashetikeron do shedabitiatiando. Son deve meron bara, yo deve veron rara, ronda sede. Take a deep breath. Hold and release. Open your eyes. How do you feel? What do you feel?
I feel light, just lighter than what I was before.
Yeah. So we moved some of the stuff. I'm going to be really doing some inner workings, but I wanted to do this for everybody else too. So anybody on the call that you guys listen to this or anything like that, it's timeless. So it will help you move to your next place and level. And like I said, I'm here for guidance, guys. I really appreciate being on here, and thank you for your time and all you guys' dedication to being on this call. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Tiffany. And I'm seeing the comments right here. Everyone feels amazing and lighter. Lighter seems to be the common adjective. So
I hear that. I hear that because it does a lot of clearing of removing a lot of heavy energy is what we were doing. So
give us one time your contact information, and I'll put it below the more info in the more info section of this video for people that are watching it on the recorded version. So.
okay, my email address is tiffany@intuitivednahealer.com, and my phone number is 352-426-5490. And I'm giving a great discount to anybody who wants to have the DNA activation. It's normally $250 for a session, but for Gregg's In5D people, I'm going to do it for $150. So.
Alrighty. Well, I hope your email inbox gets flooded. And well, I'll be looking forward to having my session done with you as well. And then maybe we can come out and talk about that and a few more.
Love to. Maybe we can even do it to where Joyce does a before and after picture.
That'd be great.
It'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I do.
I am so willing to be a guinea pig, especially when it comes to my DNA.
Well, this is what I want to say too. So when you guys are getting energy work and stuff done, if they don't have an inner foundation, you guys are also receiving a lot of stuff from other people. It's important to have someone who, if they're tapping into your DNA, they're tapping into your energy field, that they're pure source. They're here to really truly, because they don't, this is what I'm saying, a lot of people may even understand the way that they're being used. And so it might not be that person, you know, that's the energy healer that is aware that these lower frequencies are zapping energy from you. So it's important that you guys really kind of, you know, feel this out. Discernment's a huge thing right now on this planet that needs to be opened up and awakened big time. So, you know, when you have work done, just make sure that you've got yourself a pure source working with you.
Wise words to finish up on. Tiffany, thank you once again.
Thank you.
I would like to encourage everyone to stop by in5d.net for these amazing shirts loaded with tons of positive energy infused into them. I want to thank everybody here that joined us on Zoom as well as on YouTube. I also want to encourage you to join us on patreon.com/in5d. If you enjoy these kind of videos that we make, it's one way you can show your support, and it's all appreciated. So once again, thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Beautiful family, for joining us, and we'll be back again sometime soon. Stay tuned. Namaste.
Bye, guys.